before we start, if you're watching on YouTube, it would mean so much if you could just drop a like for us. But here we go. Kyle Trask, a big name out of Florida.
Yeah, he's a big name out of Florida.
Thoughts?
I mean, one thing I got to say, first of all, is that if you want to know who Kyle Pitts was, who was Kyle Pitts' quarterback, this is it. This is Kyle Trask.
Yep.
This is the guy, okay? You want to know why Kyle Pitts was going up and contesting those catches and doing those amazing plays? Is because Kyle Trask was throwing him the ball, okay? He's likely a second round.
Was it the chicken or the egg is going to be the big question. Was it the chicken or was it the egg, right? Was it Kyle Pitts making Trask the guy, or was it Kyle Pitts making Trask
exactly.
a good guy?
And
so
I think
one of these guys is going to get drafted, and it's going to be because of the other. That's how I see it.
I completely
Probably
agree with you,
Pitts.
and I think this is why you have to keep an eye out on Kyle Trask. You know, he's likely a second or third round guy. He could potentially, be in a backup situation for a couple years, and then, start. I think all the guys that we're going to talk about has the potential to start, but they could be playing that Patrick Mahomes, Alex Smith role for the first couple of years, or Aaron Rodgers, Brett Favre role for a couple of years.
Jordan Love.
These are what these guys could be right now.
Yeah. So Kyle Pitts, the thing we have to keep in mind, obviously, Kyle Trask. There's a lot of Kyles, the Kyle bros. With Trask, you have to keep in mind he had elite talent on his team, right? But he still performed at a high level. He used the talent that was given to him and performed really well.
Yeah.
There's something that has to be said about that. So here's how I see it, right? He had Kadarius Toney, Kyle Pitts. In my opinion, where he lands will heavily depend on how his career goes.
Okay.
For example, he's not a guy to turn a franchise around. He's not going to land on the Bears, the Texans, the Broncos, and just create a new hope, a new glimmer of hope for these franchises, right? I don't see him as the savior of a franchise. But let's say he lands in the Steelers, the Saints, maybe even the Patriots. I've heard actually a lot of rumors linking him with New Orleans. I've heard a lot of those that they could look at him late in the first. That's too early in my opinion. But if it's your guy, it's your guy. If he lands in an already good system, great coaches, great talent around him, we have seen in Florida he can support that talent and create, a successful offense. So, in my opinion, he's a backup for his career unless he lands in a good system, in a good fit, ready for him to step in after a legend.
And that's what I believe. It's really hard to understand these guys' career right now before the draft. Once we see him going to a team, we can be like, wow, he can start immediately. But
totally.
Look, the next guy, David Mills, here out of Stanford, and
Davis,
my
boy Davis. He has just flown up draft boards in the last month. There are talks of him being a first-round draft pick. Davis Mills out of Stanford.
Yeah, and I don't like him.
I don't think he should be a first, but there's talks.
Yeah, I like Davis, and let me tell, and I'm going to tell you that I'm probably going to be ranking Davis over Kyle Trask, and it's very minuscule and it's very small. I think he's not your prototypical NFL quarterback. Oh no, he is your prototypical NFL quarterback. Probably like a couple years ago. He's the Eli Mannings, the Peyton Mannings, the guy that sticks in the pocket. He makes decent
Well, let's
throws.
not disrespect, obviously he's not those players, but that's the mold.
Yeah, exactly. That's the mold, right? So, once again, likely a second or third round pick. How are you feeling about him?
Yeah, I mean, he's the one thing I will say, he does show some pretty good football IQ. Out of all the quarterbacks we scouted, he might have the quickest release, which is important.
Absolutely.
Because if he can be put in the right offense, and he can find his first route or his first option, I guess, super quick, then that could be very successful. We've seen a lot of guys do that. Drew Brees, he's not Drew Brees, not at all.
Yeah.
But I guess the comparison is he can get the ball out quick like a Drew Brees can. I think he actually had like one of the highest rates or the highest times, the lowest times of releasing the ball from snap.
Yeah, it was like 2.8
So I really like his IQ.
Release.
Yeah, go ahead. How much?
It was he released the ball in like 2.8 seconds, something like that.
Yeah, very impressive. That's something that stood out in his tape. The one thing that worries me is obviously he also showed a couple risky plays. He almost reminds you a little bit of a Fitzpatrick, where he's willing to push the ball too much, and maybe that can be fixed because it does create some turnover plays. Excuse me. But he's also not the most mobile quarterback. Like you said, 10 years ago, both of these guys are first-round picks.
Yeah.
Without a doubt.
Yeah,
Kyle Trask might be a top 5 pick 10 years ago. Davis Mills probably goes in the mid-first round. But because the NFL is transitioning to a different type of quarterback, you'll see guys like this start to drop because, man, they have some of the intangibles, but they don't have that it factor. They don't have that raw athleticism. So where do you see Davis Mills landing? What's a place you like Davis Mills going
I like
to?
him going, once again, I believe he's going to go to kind of like Kyle Trask. He's going to go to a system that has weapons around him that can kind of sit down and understand, what his role is. So I see the Bears, the Steelers, the Saints, your Washington football team. I see those scenarios. Like, obviously, if he goes to the Bears, he can sit behind Andy Dalton, Nick Foles, kind of understand it. He can be this guy for the future. Those guys aren't on long-term deals. Same thing with the Steelers. Sitting behind Ben Roethlisberger, who knows if he plays one more year or 2 more years, and maybe Davis Mills is this guy to come in and step in, because Dwayne Haskins, I mean, GG's.
Don't start. Don't hurt me. Don't hurt me like that. Who would have thought we'd be talking about Dwayne Haskins on the show today?
Look at us. Hey, look at us. Look at us. Huh? Who would have thought? Not me.
All right. Obviously, the reality is either these guys could be stars if they're put in the right position. They could be out of the league in 3 years. That's just kind of how it goes. But in 30 seconds, tell me, you're the GM, you're on the clock in the second round, and you need a quarterback. These guys are on the clock. Who are you taking? 30 seconds or less.
30 seconds. I think I'm taking, Davis Mills. I think I like him a little bit better. I think his decision making and how fast he can get the ball out of his hands. Like you said, he has a great football IQ. So I believe he has the upper hand. He's probably a little bit more of a project, but long haul, I think he is the better prospect.
All right, I'm on the clock. I am taking Kyle Trask over Davis Mills.
Okay.
And let me explain. We are kind of playing the scenario of what if Davis Mills could support an offense this way. We already know Kyle Trask can support an offense with really great weapons. He hasn't done it in the NFL, but none of these guys have. So for me, I'm looking, what are my options? Well, I've seen Trask can do it. Let me put him in my amazing offense and see him continue to be a great quarterback. So, yo, what's good? Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the best of fantasy football. We got some more videos as well if you're feeling like it. And lastly, don't forget that you can support us and unlock exclusive content by signing up to our Patreon, patreon.com/fantasylandfam.